All right, I'm going to keep this video short and sweet and simple, super powerful. We're not going to be doing any complex automations here. We're not going to be creating complex workflows and go high level and hit enter make. We're just going to use Apify, Apollo.io to scrape leads. By the end of this video, you will be able to create a curated list of business contacts that you are interested in. And what you do with that contact information is your business. You can use your imagination. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to use that information to curate a custom audience on the Meta platform. And what does that do for you? Anytime you go to run ads on Facebook or Instagram or their partner network, you are going to feed Facebook a curated list of data points that they can try to match with their audience in order to present your ads in front of the correct audience. Now, what I'm going to show you here is not magic, but it's incredibly cheap for you to do. And I think that you should do it. It doesn't require necessarily any paid tools. We're sitting here, actually it does require paid tools, Apify and Apollo. Apollo's free, but Apify does have a minor cost. Like I have highlighted here, we are going to be scraping these leads or maybe prospects by your definition for less than a penny. Actually, I think that's a tenth of a penny. Not sure, I'm not a mathematician, but less than a penny for every single contact. And I'm going to show you how to do it here in this video. So watch it all the way through. I'm going to try to keep it as fast as possible. So first things first, if you don't know what Apify is, it is an amazing platform or a marketplace, as some may say, of web scrapers. There are developers who create scrapers. They maintain these scrapers. They list them on this marketplace and you can lease them for a small fee, use them, and it's beautiful because if you've ever created a scraper in the past, or maybe you haven't, it is complicated. And what's more complicated than creating the scraper is actually keeping up with the scraper. Websites don't want you scraping their data. And so they implement countermeasures to prevent people from doing that. Now, this video is for educational purposes only. So I am not advocating for you to be a scraper. I am just showing you what is possible with these tools. Now, as I mentioned, Apify does have some costs associated with it, but I'll leave a link below for you to get a free $5 credit. And that $5 credit, as you're going to see, is going to take you a long way. I don't even think you're going to need to upgrade to the higher plan in order to get this done, but you may want to upgrade in the future to take advantage of some of the other tools that they have in this platform. Apollo.io, if you are not familiar with it, let's see if I can go back to the homepage. Apollo.io is a data provider for all intents and purposes. They have compiled a list of contacts, email addresses. I believe they have phone numbers, website information, job history, LinkedIn profiles for tons of businesses around the world, really. Today, we're going to focus on the United States. But if you're new to Apollo.io or if you've never used it, they sort of have their pricing structure here. The beautiful thing about what I'm going to show you today, you can do all this on the free plan. So don't go and sign up for $49, $79, $119 a month. If you want to, go ahead. Nothing against signing up. I hope Apollo gets all their business, but for some reason, this capability is available. Now, it almost seems too good to be true. I think that this might get patched in the future, and then if that's the case, you're going to have to go in and sign up for one of these plans. And even then, at that price, it is worth it if you have a service that you're selling to these businesses on the back end. So if you're unfamiliar with the Facebook Ads Manager, this isn't going to be a masterclass on the Facebook Ads Manager, but I am going to show you how to create a custom audience and how to create a lookalike audience with the data that we scrape. And yeah, so first things first, let's hop into Apify. And when we go to Apify, we are going to search for Apollo. If you haven't created your account yet, click the link below. If you want to support the channel, create your account, and then you should find the store. Or if you're already in the console, like if you create your account and you log in and you're here, you just want to click on the store up here. And then let's search for Apollo. And what we're looking for here is the Apollo Scraper. Scrape up to 50,000 leads by Code Pioneer. It's one of the highest rated ones here. You also have this one from Curious Coder. I've used Curious Coder stuff in the past and it's really good as well. Curious to see what the pricing is on this one. So this is $45 a month. We don't want to do that. They do offer a free trial of 1 day, so you can come in here and use it for 1 day. But if you come over here, this one is $1.20 for 1,000 leads. So it's pay per use, which is great. Now, The only thing this really requires us to do is to get the search URL. And if you look at this search URL here, let me try to zoom in a little bit. It's pretty complicated, right? You have all these URL query parameters. It's all URL encoded. It's got these special characters. I'm going to show you an easy way for you to go ahead and do this. Now, what we're going to do is hop in here. And so if you've signed up for a free account, you should be able to log into your... Let me get out of my settings here. You should be able to log into a dashboard that looks like this. If you haven't signed up yet, again, sign up for a free account. I don't even think I had to put in my credit card when I signed up. It's wild. What you're going to do is come over here. You might be at home. We want to select people. Okay. And then here, we're going to build out our search. And let's come down here. Let me zoom out a little bit just so I can get everything situated. Here, email status, we're going to click on verified. I only want verified emails. I don't want junky emails. So I'm going to click on that. If you wanted to also have unverified emails, that's up to you. Now let's come down here and search for job titles. Maybe we just leave job titles empty for now, just for this example. Company in here. If you wanted contacts from a specific company, you can put that out there, but we're not going to focus on that. Location, we are going to set it to the United States because we don't want anything outside of the United States for this example. Number of employees. Now, I'm just going to keep it to 1 to 10 employees or maybe 11 to 20. We'll keep it from 1 to 20. So we want small businesses here that we're selling to. In my case, I sell SaaS services and automation services to small businesses. And so that is who I'm targeting. Now, let's say here we are targeting construction companies. So you would come in here in the industry and let's just say construction. So small construction companies in the United States that have anywhere from 1 to 20 employees. And if we scroll down here, let me see if I can sort of fix my screen here. There you go. Looks like we have 193,000 contacts here, actually almost 194 contacts here. So we're not going to scrape all of these. I love you guys, but I don't love you guys that much. If you come down here, they have some additional tools like buying intent scores, technology, revenue, funding. These are locked. So this is where you would have to purchase a paid account if you wanted to unlock some of those search queries, but we're not going to worry about that right now. And honestly, there's probably a way for you to sort of hack these together and figure out what the search queries are for this. Maybe if you used like OpenAI or something, you'd be able to check that out or figure it out. But if you look here, we sort of have a list of people, right? And maybe we don't want to, maybe we do want to say, hey, job titles, maybe we want to do sales manager and just so we could pare it down and be a little bit more niche down here. And maybe we want to target sales managers. So this is a little bit better. We have about 5,000 contacts, sales managers, but if you notice here, their names are blurred out and then their emails are certainly blurred out here. You have sort of this access email button, and then we scroll down, we have a ton of information. So you look, you have their LinkedIn, you have their location, you have what company keywords, and a bunch more. All we're going to do here, is we're going to copy this. So click on the URL and copy it. If you can't see my URL bar, all I did was click on the URL wherever you put in your www.google.com, copy it, and right click, copy, and then we're going to come back into our Apify scraper. We're going to delete this search URL and we're going to paste the one that we just created. So I'm going to go ahead and limit this to 200 just for the purposes of this video. It does cost money, but it's very minimal. And then we are going to click save and start. Now I have noticed that if you're going to scrape 10,000 emails, you might want to mess with this timeout. Sometimes it times out at 300. I think 300 is the default, but even if it times out, it allows you to pick up where it left off. So that's super helpful. Now, what we'll do here is we will leave it at 600 and then we will click save and start. That is going to spin up resources in the cloud automatically for you. No additional configuration needed. And let's see, total record is less than the minimum allowed. Okay, so they want us to scrape at least 500. Okay, we'll comply with that. So let's go back here. And let's scrape 500. I guess I'm paying for 500 for you guys. I must really love you. And go back, and it is spinning up resources in the cloud to go and scrape those contacts for you. Now, I'm going to pause the video here, but don't worry, the timer is going right here, so you will see exactly how long it takes to scrape these emails. So I'll pause this and come back when it's complete. All right, so the scraper just finished completing and it took 2 minutes and 3 seconds and we got 500 records. Now, those may not be 500 perfect records, but it is incredible. That cost us 60 cents. Guys, that's incredible. So what we're going to do is come over here to the output, and we are going to export our results into a CSV. I'll go ahead and download that, and I will use that here in a second. So like I said here, we're going to gather a lot of information. We just did that. It took us 2 minutes. We got 500 contacts in there. Now we're going to upload this as a custom audience into Facebook. And how do we do that? Come into your Facebook Ads Manager. I am using a demo account here. And so if you go to facebook.com/ads manager, you'll get here. If you're unfamiliar with the Ads Manager, I'd recommend you get familiar with it. This isn't a masterclass on it, but if you're doing advanced things like creating custom audiences, you might want to take some time to get more familiar with the Ads Manager. But come over here, and on the left-hand side, just click on Audiences. And what we're going to do is create a custom audience. If you've created custom audiences before, then you would have sort of a different interface here, but this is a demo account, so we don't have any custom audiences. We're going to create a custom audience. We're going to create it from a customer list. We're going to click Next, and then we're going to click Next. This is just sort of giving you the file template, but it'll allow you to map the fields here in a second. And then I am going to just drag and drop the data set, and in here, I'm going to name this Small Construction Companies. You can name it whatever you want. This is just for demonstration. If I wanted to add a description in here, I could say 1 to 20 employees, United States, and I think we filtered by sales managers. So that's probably important to include here. Awesome. So we will click Next, and then here you could see that it is starting to map fields automatically for us. So we're going to validate that we have the correct fields mapped. And let's see, we have country, email. That's a really important one right there, is the email. Employment history, it's trying to map that as date of birth, and so we are not going to upload that because that is not their date of birth. Phone numbers, so we can go ahead and upload multiple phone numbers. So we have an organizational phone number, and then we have organizational sanitized phone number. We're going to just give it as much contact data as we can give it, so it gives more to the Facebook algorithm to go ahead and try to match it to an actual user that they have on their platform. What does it say here? Personal emails. We're going to go ahead and update it as email, and then personal email 1. It looks like it's empty for the preview data, but there's probably multiple emails per contact, so we're just going to give it all of that information. Now, if you come over here to unmapped fields, we have location, right? So I think that might be useful in here. So this is the city. So let's go ahead and map that, because more data, the better. That's city. Where else what other information do we have? There's a ton of information that was returned. I know I didn't open the CSV to show you what's all there. I partly didn't want to expose a bunch of people's emails, but let's see. We've got employment history. Let's see if we can do job title. Is job title situation or a subject in here? Does not look like it. I apologize if I miss it, but that's okay. Let's come here, just make sure. There's a ton of stuff in here. We already have enough information right now to create the custom audience. So I just wanted to scroll through here and see if there's anything else that maybe would be interesting, like maybe a website or something, but we have enough here. So we have 7 map fields, more than enough information for Facebook to go ahead and map. So we're gonna go ahead and import and create. Looks like the upload's in progress, and just like that, you see the availability here is set. Let me try to zoom in a bit. We are populating, but it is available for use. Now, next thing we're going to do is we just created that custom audience. Now we're going to create a lookalike audience. We are going to tell Facebook, hey, I just gave you 500 contacts, and you're trying to find your user base. Now, I want you to go out and find people who look similar to these people that I just gave you in the United States. Create a lookalike audience and help me target those people as well, because construction company sales managers probably have a lot more in common than one may think. Maybe they're into specific TV shows, or they have certain habits that Facebook knows about, and so they can go ahead from your small data set and increase that population size so that you have a more popular target audience. So let's come in here, and what we'll do is we can check this, I believe. Let's create audience, create a lookalike audience. Okay, I think checking didn't really do anything for us, but we're going to go to other sources, and then let's search for small construction company sales managers, and then location is going to be United States. Now you have to target by the region or country here. It doesn't allow you to go down to the state level, or at least I haven't figured out how to do that. And then here you have the 1% lookalike audience consists of people most similar to your lookalike audience source. Increasing the percentage creates a bigger, broader audience, but then they might not necessarily be the people you're interested in. So we're going to leave it here at 1%. And it looks like there's an additional 2.8 million people, 2.77. And I noticed that it always says that for this audience size. So I question whether it is actually 2.77. If you know why it does that, you can comment down below. I'd love to learn. But we're going to create this audience, and then it's going to create a second audience, which is essentially, hey, lookalike 1% of the small construction company sales manager audience. Awesome. So now we have our actual like 500 company list. It's still populating, but we can use it right now. And then we have a lookalike audience, which is like 2.8 million people. So if we come in here and create a demo campaign, let's say we were going to target these people because we wanted to sell them our SaaS services or our marketing services, we would just say we're going to create a new lead campaign. And I'm just going to breeze through this. Again, this isn't a full-blown test. I'm not going to name this or anything, but if we come in here to the ad set where all the targeting happens, and we come into our audience section, you have audience suggestions. I believe it's in here. Yep. If we go to custom audiences, you see here we have small construction company sales managers. And if you notice, our audience definition is unavailable at the time, mostly because it's still populating, but also because maybe it's too small of an audience for Facebook to tell you exactly how many people you're targeting. But if you go ahead and add the lookalike audience, it should add some additional people. Okay. And it looks like our reach updated 1.3 to 3.7K. It's got some predictions here. I never listen to these things. They're never accurate. But if I let that audience move through its creation cycle, we would have a audience estimate. But right now it's just too soon because I just created it and I added it. And also, if I was doing this for real, I would scrape much more than 500 contacts. I'd probably try to scrape all 5,000 contacts since it's so cheap. And that gives Facebook more data. And the more data it has, the better it can do for you. I'm not going to go through and go through the rest of the campaign configuration here. This isn't a Facebook masterclass. There is some more Facebook ads content on my channel. So if you subscribe, go down to a playlist. I show you how I create some of my ad campaigns. Now, this right here, some people would argue that you shouldn't do this, that the Facebook algorithm is smart enough to take your ad creative, your ad copy, and sort of maybe some interest targeting or age targeting or location targeting and actually get in front of the right people. And for the most part, I found that to be true. However, I think that this strategy is worth a split test. And what's a split test? Essentially, taking your ad campaign where you're using advantage targeting, which is Facebook's algorithmic targeting, and then just take that, split your budget, and then try an ad set where you're running this custom audience. I'll tell you that I've seen some pretty impressive results doing this. So may not be for you. Maybe your advantage campaign is performing better, and that's okay. But this is incredibly powerful for you to do. Not to mention, this is just creating Facebook custom audiences or meta custom audiences, which is Facebook and Instagram. But you now have their email address, you have their phone number, you have their website. So whether you want to start a cold email campaign, you want to reach out to them on LinkedIn, you want to cold call them, you now have that information. You can hand it over to your sales team and get it done. So I hope that was helpful. This is mind-blowing. Honestly, I don't know how long this is going to be around because this kind of seems like a bit of a hack. And so if I were you, I'd go ahead and download some data for your niche and hold it near and dear and work through it over the coming years. Because I guess the worst case scenario is you'll have to apply for or purchase the Apollo monthly package, which honestly is fairly priced as well and is another way to do it. So hopefully that was helpful. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and check out some of my other content. I try to add value as I solve problems in my business. I try to share them with you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I do. Have a nice day. Till next time. Peace.